Smash that limiter!
Because I had the blue screen of death and everything needed to update yesterday, it removes my microphone from OBS, so I just had to rechange it. So that's the reason why no one could hear me. So, as I was saying, I'm wearing a beanie because I'm having a bad hat day. Welcome to episode 7. We have a special guest, Wazz. And yeah, it's short hair, Goose. It's all like, I'm not going to get into it. But anyway, I've had blue screen of death already this morning. I've had many issues going on with PC. So this is a great start. It's only up from here. You can only get better. Recommend people don't use a laptop for gaming and stuff all the time, especially when you live in a hot climate, because they start to overheat lots, and then when they get overheated lots, they start to deteriorate, and then they start becoming unreliable. So, yeah. So, Wazz, tell us about yourself. Who are you? What you do? All that sort of stuff. Obviously, your name's Wazz. Remember that.
Well, I'm a chef. Been cooking everywhere. Done everything. And I love cars. It's an addiction for me. So I can't help it.
So, how did you learn how to drive? By the way, yeah.
Well, I learnt when my dad was used to take us down to the local car park, drive around a lot there. Learnt there and learnt when we were going on camping trips and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So that was all cool. Yeah, so that's how I sort of started learning, and then also driving on other mates' properties that I knew.
Yeah.
Had a lot of mates with some farms and stuff.
So, Ray's obviously putting important information in there. Obviously, Wazz is my brother, so that's how we know each other. So when he's talking about how he learned to drive, I was in the back of the car, the Laser, in the halftime, crying, my little scared little bitch.
Fearing for your life, as they say.
I was very young. There's quite a few years gap between us, but yeah. So, how many cars have you owned over the years? Because you've owned a shitload.
Yeah, I was trying to count it all. I've lost count. I've had
perfect amount.
I've had
He's counting it, by the way. Yeah. He's counting it. And also for those little trivia, that introduction on the YouTube channel. So when I re-upload these videos onto the YouTube channel, and you hear some guy yelling, "Hit that limiter," that is Wazz, and that is his Toyota Hilux Surf that has a 1AUZ V8 motor in it. So yeah, it's just a little bit of an example of the sort of enthusiasm he has. He literally bought a car that has a V8 in it that originally came out with a 4-cylinder piece of crap. So yeah. You back?
Well, yeah, you there?
Yeah.
Got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
So I reckon it's been over 100, to be honest.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Because we used to be able to pick up, KE70s for, $50, and used to have them with paddock batteries. And at one point, my first shed I had with a group of mates, we ended up having to move. And luckily, 3-4 stalls down was a local scrapyard. So
yeah,
it took us 3 days just to push all the cars down one by one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember those days. Because you even had a unicorn too, didn't you?
I've had a few unicorns in my time.
Yeah.
So my first unicorn that I ever found was actually in my boss's rental property, and the people that were renting decided to bail.
So, you might want to explain what a unicorn is to the audience, because a lot of these people probably don't know. And to answer Goose's question, I don't like. Did you ram him into walls and stuff? I don't think you pretty much just basically thrashed the crap out of them until they wouldn't go no more. Really, didn't you?
Yeah, rally bashed them in dirt and in the bush.
Yeah.
Crashed them into each other. You know, a little bit of destruction derby. You know, amongst mates.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a unicorn is something that you don't find every day. It's a bit rare. And everyone likes them, and you know you can get good money for them.
Because they were a what were they? They were Nissan bloody things, weren't they?
No, my first one was actually a VL.
Yeah.
Original police car, all in original colours. Even had the original police push bike in the back.
I didn't even realise that.
Which was a V8, and the owners of it decided to bail on my boss. And she found it, and she had no idea about cars, so she's like, "Oh, we'll just pick it up."
Yeah.
And originally, I had no idea what it was.
Yeah.
So I organised a mate to go down there and pick it up for me, and bring it to my shed. And when it was getting dropped off, I was quite surprised, to be honest.
Yeah, I bet.
It was a fucking nightmare under the hood, under that thing. Though. There were like hoses and shit going nowhere.
Yeah, it took me a good 3-4 weeks to get it running. But at that stage, I was only an apprentice, so I got it running as best I could, and then sold it on. Unfortunately,
yeah, they're worth a mint now.
I had a old Commodore, with a 4-speed manual, which was hard to find anyway.
Were they mostly 3 speeds?
No, they're mostly autos.
Oh, right.
You didn't get too many Commodores in a 4-speed manual.
Right.
Or the old school people will say 4 on the floor.
Yeah. Yeah, because in the old days, Holdens used to all be column shift on the old Kingswoods and stuff like that. Yeah. So that's where the saying on the floor came out.
But unfortunately, that one got stolen and written off.
Oh.
So that was
ruin your bloody day.
Yeah, I've never written off my own cars. Everyone else has just done it for me.
Don't even have to pay him to do it.
Actually, yeah, the fucking charade. The charade, you didn't even ride that off.
Nah, I was passenger.
Yeah.
But I stand by it today. I've never written off my own vehicles. It's always been someone else.
Far out.
Yeah, he had this GDI charade. The thing was I loved that car. That car was so fun.
The old idea of it, I bought it for a couple $100, and the old idea of it was to slam it and everything to try and get defected by the police.
Yeah.
Really?
But it had the opposite effect.
Oh, really?
The police kept pulling me over to take photos of it.
Oh.
It was
I come at it.
Yeah.
I come at it using marijuana leaf.
Yeah.
And everything.
Oh, you tried your best and it didn't work.
Yeah,
I tried to get it defected, it didn't work.
It was It was a legendary car. I wish I could show photos of it, but I can't.
Nah, that's fair. Did you when you get defected, do the cops just take the car off you and give you a fine, or they just take the car off you and leave it at that?
No, they don't take the car. They just slap a sticker on it. Depending on the defect.
Yeah.
There's 2 separate defects. There's the cop shop defect, which is like ball tires, etc., etc. So you just got to fix the issue and then take down the police station.
Yep.
Or here we call it Regency defect, and that's a major one where you got to take it for a full inspection.
Yep.
And most of the time when they give you a Regency defect, you may as well just give up and get rid of the car.
Yeah, right.
Because they go over it with like a fine-tooth needle, and any issue they'll just like permanently write it off.
Yeah, right. Okay.
My drift car's been over 4 times now.
Yeah, how come they kept passing that too? That's the funny thing with it.
Well, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, like I
Yeah.
can take a corner at 180 k's an hour sideways. Like, tell me it's not roadworthy. You know, it's like, bugger off, mate.
So this drift car that Wazz is talking about is a car that he's had. That was the first car that you bought, like that with a loan, wasn't it?
No, I never got a loan for. Oh no, yeah, I did. I got a
Yeah, you
loan
did,
for
you
it. It was
did,
only
yeah.
a small one.
Yeah.
It was only a small one.
So it was his
I've had
pride
the
and
car
joy.
for. I've had the car for 16 years.
Yeah.
Far out.
He still has it. It's in his backyard, but the problem is a tree fell on it just after you had it dyno tuned.
Yeah, after I had dyno tune, I actually had a stroke at the same time. So
Yeah.
it was a bad weekend for me. I'll tell you that one.
No, I'd be bloody feeling if I was in your situation.
So unfortunately, then I took it somebody to get fixed, and they screwed me over, so to speak.
Yeah.
So we had to go steal the car back. Funny enough.
Oh.
Yeah.
And took some mates with me and ruffled a few feathers, and then we had the police around my mate's house and all sorts after that. But
Of course.
the police sort of went, "Yeah, fair enough," and you know, they took one look at one of my mates and went, "Yeah, we're not dealing with this today," and got in their cars and left, and just told us not to go back, and that was fine by me. I didn't want to go back, you know.
Nah, that's fair.
So
After that,
I sort of it's been sitting there, you know, waiting and waiting and waiting. So I've got a couple of things lined up. So hopefully within the next 12 months, it should be back on the road again.
Hell yeah.
Ready for another defect.
That's pretty much how it works. Like, put it this way: in where we live, if a copper sees two cars, right, one car is missing a door, wheels wobbling, it's rusted to buggery, it's got a bad knock, headlights out, tail lights out, and then next to it is, say, like a Skyline GTR 34 driving next to it, they're going to pull over the Skyline GTR 34, even though it's in mint condition. Yeah,
of course they would.
Yeah,
you got any illegal body modifications?
They're so biased towards imports, which is really stupid because imports happen to be the most reliable and safest cars on the road. And you don't tend to see them crashing due to malfunction of components, but only malfunctioning of drivers.
Yeah.
So it's pretty bullshit, really, the way it works here. But yeah, I reckon taxis should be defected more.
They probably should be. I've seen a few taxis with them that should not be driving around on the road with passengers inside.
I know. It's ludicrous. I mean, Ubers have better standards than taxis.
Yeah, I know. It's probably cheaper too. I've seen some of the rates. They're fucking crazy.
Yeah, it is. Uber's way cheaper. So
Absolutely.
Tell us the story of the first car that you bought for a carton of beer.
I've had that transaction a few times actually. The first car I've never lost. Put it this way, I've never lost money on a car.
Yeah.
I've always made more money and been able to buy more cars.
Excellent.
So, the first car I ever bought was the first ever car I bought was a Datsun. Bought for $50. We all heard that story a few weeks ago.
Yep.
The second car I bought for me to actually drive was a Holden Chimera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which hunks of junk, really. That was a 4-cylinder and everything, and I ended up blowing the motor.
Oh,
really?
So,
too many revs in it or something.
Too many burnouts and
Yeah.
everything else. And this is before I even had my P's to drive it on the road.
You're right.
Used to take for hot laps when mum and dad were asleep.
Yeah.
But I had to do a motor swap in that. And true to Dad's word, you know, he taught you very well by saying, do it. And you will learn along the way. And I guess doing that motorsport was sort of where my addiction started. Then I had another car that I bought for a carton of beer. I can't remember what one it was. I had a VT wagon, VS wagon. I've had so many. It's hard to remember them all. My best buy was my VC Commodore, which was parked across the road from my parents' house. And the lady said that it was broken down and won't run. And I paid, $500 for it. Turned out to be the clutch. So fixed the clutch and nothing wrong with it.
Right.
Where do I go? My best story, instead of a carton of beer, my best story was my mate works at a like a pawn shop, where they sell secondhand stuff.
Oh yeah.
And in there was a sound system, and there was the sound system was for $400. And we looked up the sound system. The sound system itself was about $5,500 secondhand.
Oh, wow.
And his boss puts things out for sale. He doesn't overcharge or anything. It's literally make his money back and 10%, and that's all. Anyway, so I ended up buying it, and while we were there, I put it on Gumtree.
Yeah.
While still in the shop, I hadn't even loaded it in the back of the car yet. I don't think I even paid for it yet. I hadn't even paid for it yet.
Oh, wow.
But I took the photo and put it on Gumtree. Anyway, my phone blew up, and I had one guy really wanting it, and I said, $500 deposit. You don't get your deposit back if you don't pick it up. He's like, yeah, fair enough. Paid him a $500 deposit. And then 2 days later, said, "Nah, I'm pulling out. Can I have my deposit back?" I said, "There's no refunds of deposit."
You slimy bastard.
And, because at this stage, my phone was still going off with people offering, money for it and this, that, the other. And in the end, I ended up selling it to this couple of guys.
Yep.
They paid me $500 deposit and came within 3 hours to come pick it up, paid me the full price. And with that money, I ended up buying another unicorn, which was my AU Falcon XR6.
Which is now going to be which is now going to be one of your other burnout cars, isn't it?
I'm not sure, because I got so much hate for that. I'm not sure if I want to do that now.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Hate
I
from
wouldn't.
the gum trees, or hate from other
No,
drivers?
other car enthusiasts, because that's an iconic car. The XR6 was one of the fastest road production cars of its time.
All right.
Yeah.
And
didn't take much to make it go mental.
and the one I got, which I only paid $500 for, it's rough around the edges, but it's the body kit on there is different. The options, you don't get that options. So we actually tracked it down to be one of the head honchos of Ford at the time. It was one of his cars, so it's fully optioned.
How come he didn't put a turbo on it? How come he didn't get an XR6 turbo though?
Because at that time they didn't have turbos in the AUs.
Didn't they?
Turbos came with the BAs.
Ah.
And at that time there was a strict contingent on what cars could be turboed in Australia and what couldn't.
Which is still around to this day, which sucks. Our government controls every aspect of everything that we do, and it's just so annoying.
Well, it's like
the horsepower to weight ratio, isn't it?
Yeah, it's stupid. But yet they will let someone with like a Lamborghini or McLaren come through the stupid.
Yeah, because they pay the luxury tax, and that extra bit of income
actually
is on the government stuff, though.
Luxury tax is a fast. Believe it or not, luxury tax is put on any import that is more than $3,000.
Which is pretty much everything.
Which is every single car that you import. If you do it on your own and not through a dealership. If you do it through a dealership, there is no luxury tax, unless it's like a Ferrari or Lambo. But then I've even heard rumors that those people get away with it as well. Right. So it's basically the luxury tax was put into place in Australia to prevent people from importing, so that way car manufacturers like Holden and Ford that were manufacturing the country didn't get outcompeted by private importers. Funnily enough, though, the car industry in Australia is dead, so the luxury tax should theoretically be removed, but, our government's greedy, so there.
Yeah, it didn't work out for Holden in the long run anyway.
We'll put it this way.
Crap. Yeah.
You can go over to America and buy a $20,000, this is Australian too, by the way, $20,000 Ford F-150, heap of shit, right?
Yeah.
You try and import it over here and it'll cost you like over 100K and above.
Yeah,
for a 20K car.
Just for the import as well, right?
And then also you got to convert it to right-hand drive as well. But that's not actually as expensive as I thought it was. It's the import fees that cost the most. That's why, you see these idiots, and I call them idiots, running around with Dodge Rams and stuff like that. And they're paying like $130,000 for cars worth $60,000. I don't get it. There's no justification for that. You might as well just get like a Land Cruiser and just put a GVM upgrade and, whoa, you can do the same thing. Isn't that right, Wazz?
Yeah, well, the laws have actually changed in the last few months about imported vehicles from America.
Oh, really?
It's a lot easier now, even with left-hand drive, to keep from left-hand drive.
Yeah.
But the thing that we're getting hit with at the moment, which will come in effect, well, hopefully won't come in effect, I should say, is the new horsepower law that we're going to have in South Australia, where anything through that, I can't remember, it's over 350 horsepower per tonne per vehicle. You have to get a special high-powered vehicle license.
I thought they already had that in the other states as well, not just South Australia.
No, not really. You find in Queensland they don't have anything, because that's why most of the Lamborghinis and stuff are in Queensland.
Yeah.
But the funny part is pretty well all of my mates have got cars that will exceed that.
Yeah.
And will need this special high-powered license. But how they're going to police it, I don't know. They're going to drive around with a portable dyno.
Yeah.
A portable dyno you could also technically contest its calibration as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah. Well, that's like the emissions testing and stuff like that. Like I have proven in my car that the emission testing can be false,
unreliable.
Yeah. Well, like it's stupid. I don't know. I don't understand why they do some of the things that they do with cars. Because like it is how can you police it? Yeah, it is. That's all it is. It's just money, revenue, the amount of. But the problem is as well is like they bring all these ludicrous laws, but then you can't prove it. And if you can't prove it, then it gets thrown out in court, and then that's more money spent in court, and therefore they need more money in fines and stuff. It's just like a dog chasing its tail, really.
All right, so they say they're not revenue raising, but when you get a fine, the first thing that says on the
revenue
envelope
is revenue.
Says SA revenue.
Yeah, or revenue New South Wales or revenue Queensland. Yeah, but
I was like, well,
So what's the most powerfulest car you've been, and what's the fastest speeds? And by the way, this is all alleged. That's never happened.
It's all alleged. It happened on the face of Mars.
Look, allegedly, I've been 295
Holy
kilometers an hour.
Shit!
Yeah.
Allegedly, and that was in an S15 Sylvia. The probably most powerful car I've been in has been a 1300 horsepower 35 GDR doing a hills run. That was probably one of the most sketchiest thing I've ever done and been in. But then when he let me drive it, they're like go-karts. You turn the steering wheel and it goes where it needs to go. So,
beauty.
It was a lot of fun. But yeah, so your fastest, 295. I would not recommend.
Goose, just to put that into perspective, that's 183 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's pretty quick.
Yeah.
It's so fucking fast. I don't even know how
Yeah.
you got the car to that speed.
That is so fast that you hit a pebble or something on the road that sends you a little bump that would that would send you
Would end
flying.
it all.
Yeah, that would end it all.
Yeah,
You don't
It-
know what that
Basically, yeah.
it's a crazy experience, that's for sure.
Yeah. That's like
I've never owned.
you should tell them the story of your mate, the mechanic that had that crazy drag car, the one where like he was doing a test and the cop like came up behind him.
Yeah. So one of my old mates, he's one of the old school drag racers. He owns, I think he's got 11 old school Commodores and
Wow.
Tiranas and stuff, but he's a Ford man. And I'm like, why do you have them? He goes, they're the ones that I've won with pink slips.
Oh,
So he keeps them as trophies. But he wasn't happy. So back in the day, he wasn't happy with the motors that were around for his car. So he decided to design his own motor, basically.
Oh, really?
So he had one big block of metal and got someone to carve out a motor for him that he designed. Anyway, he used to be next door to my old shed, and this guy, master mechanic at everything. His brain is just in line. He could tell me how to strip down a motor through the wall just by talking to me through the wall, and knew exactly what bolt was next, and it was amazing. But he had this red Falcon, and one night we're taking it back to his place, and normally we would trailer it, but he's like, it's 3 a.m, bugger it, we're going to drive it back. And we pull out onto the main road, our local main road, and at the traffic lights was a police vehicle. Anyway, they hit the red and blue straight away, and my mate just turned to me and went, well, let's see how she goes. Smashed it in first gear. The whole front end picked up off the ground. While we were still pretty well in the air, he smacked second. And then just as it was coming down, he hit third.
Oh,
and,
wow.
And then the police lights turned off. And they just pulled over. So we got out of there, didn't get pulled over, but yeah, they just decided, not tonight.
Not tonight. That's
not going to end too well for us, I don't think.
Yeah.
So,
imagine that.
How fast do you reckon that you got up to? Because obviously that wouldn't have a speedometer that would be working very well.
I don't know, probably 200 plus.
Yeah,
plus.
In a very short amount of time.
Yeah. Because what was his speed records in that? Because it was ridiculous too, wasn't it?
Oh, I can't remember off the top of my head, but
quarter mile. I reckon he was running like 6s or 7s or something stupid.
Yeah, back in the day, he was the one to beat.
Yeah.
He used to travel around Australia. His whole setup. His trailer he had a room in the front, an engine building room, and then where his car was. So, he had a good setup at his house, his workshop at his house. He had his own dyno. Then he had the engine building, trans building room, heated floors. But yeah, back in the day, he was the one to beat. He used to go around. He literally got a car in his driveway that he won from pink slips from the old alleged street race. From every state, pretty well.
Far out.
So, yeah,
he was a very knowledgeable person. He was shit, but he hated Commodore Holden, which was funny.
Yeah, he hated Holden,
because
which was funny because I was a Holden man. So
yeah, because didn't he someone couldn't pay him money, so they gave them like a Tirana. And Tirana's like a pretty expensive car as well nowadays. And then he's like, I don't want to drive that piece of shit. So he said to Wazz, you should take it home. Like, take it back to my place. Yeah, I don't want to drive it.
He wouldn't drive them. He wouldn't drive them. He used to make the owners of the vehicle drive him onto the trailer.
Oh, no
After
way.
he won them as well.
Yeah,
Wow, that's talking about insult to injury. Jesus.
Bit ruthless, but
yeah. Holy crap.
It was funny.
So he had he's a good mate. He had leukemia when he was younger and everything, and that's how he got into cars. Was he was sick, and then they started looking into cars and went, well, that's what I want to do.
You should,
and just became really good at it.
Yeah, and everyone used to go and talk to him and ask him questions, and he'll walk you through everything. Pretty much, it was pretty clever.
Yeah, now he's up there earning millions and millions of dollars in the mines.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So tell us a story like when you and your mate got done for hooning when you guys weren't actually hooning. When he was having so it was your S13 and a Toyota Supra. They were just driving next to each other on a double lane road, not actually doing anything, and that story. And the driving, the forced fucking behavioral driving course and shit, like all that story is fucking funny.
So this is back when hoon driving laws first come in. Bit of a backstory. My S13 was the first car in South Australia to be impounded. At 12:01 when the hoon driving laws first came in. Bit of an interesting fact for you. But this was the second time, and me and my mate was driving. I was in my S13. We had done a little work too, but my mate had a Toyota Supra twin turbo. What worked? There was no way I was going to win against him in a drag race whatsoever. So he never really gave it a go. And we're coming up to a set of lights, and they went green. And there was a car in the middle lane, so we went around him. And went around him and kept going. And there was a police car up the road. Decided to pull us over for hoon driving. And I pulled over because, he pulled me over first. Then chased down my mate, pulled him over. The thought in my head was to run, but he's already got my license plate, so I might as well just stay there. So we go to the nearest servo, and he's going off his treatise for drag racing, this, that, the other. Dangerous driving, and we're looking at each other like we weren't even, we're doing the speed limit. Which was 80, there. And we're looking at each other like, what is this police on? And while this all happened, a couple of bikies actually pulled into the servo. So then he's on the horn for them. So next minute, the whole service station shut down because of 2 bikies and a Jeep and 2 imports.
Oh, far out.
And I ended up getting arrested that night for that. But, so going off his tree about it all, and the impounding our cars, and me and my mate was still like gobsmacked what the hell's going on. Anyway, meanwhile, they've asked for our licenses, and I've handed mine over. And if you ever change address, they put a sticker on the back of your license with your new address on it. Mm-hmm. Anyway, the cop was saying that it was fake. So he ended up.
I think you get a cop that was high on something that night.
Yeah, he was on something.
He was. So he ended up arresting me on because they couldn't prove where I lived. So they had to arrest me. So he was just trying to find any sort of way to arrest me.
Desperate for a
anyway. We get back to the cop shop, and turns out this cop actually knew Jamie. Through his air cadets. And we get back to the police station. He's going on and on and on. And then he goes, "Oh, I know your dad. I know your brother." And I said, "That's good, because now I know where to find you." And he just went real pale in the face. But what actually ended up happening is they ended up driving my car back to the police station
Yeah.
and proceeded to pull over another vehicle in my car
Oh my god.
and everything. And they ended up damaging the gearbox in my car because it took him 10 attempts to get going to actually drive it.
Of course.
And so, yeah, I ended up taking the court and winning a new gearbox, but I had to go to court
really?
over that. Yeah, it's not the first time I got money out of them, but probably won't be the last, really. But ever since then, because I won that court battle and a couple other court battles against them and got money out of them, they actually had it in for the S13 for a while there, so I had to put it in hiding for a little bit
Oh, really?
and not drive it because they red flagged it. So every time, as soon as they seen me, they pull me over and go through it with a fine-tooth comb.
Oh.
Trying to find something on it. They ended up raiding one of my storage sheds one time because that's where it was, and they were trying to prove that the car was stolen. Which it's not. It's all legit.
How do you even come to that conclusion at all?
Corruption.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, corruption. You know, they didn't like the fact that at this stage I probably got 40,000 out of them.
What? Holy crap!
By taking the court. They ended up putting a little thing in the system, which is still there to this day, which is kind of funny. But when they get pulled over, it gives them a little flashing warning.
Yeah.
So that's everything by the book. I was one of the most hated people going to court against them because I used to win. Got the gearbox replaced. One cop ran into my car when it was parked out the front of the house.
Yeah, that was funny.
Oh no! That's when you're having a bad day.
Yeah.
Oh, he was having a bad day. He was a good cop.
He was.
too.
He was nice, but it was funny though. Like it was a parked car and he reversed into it. Oh no, he sideswiped it, didn't he?
He sideswiped it. Driving. Yeah. I felt bad for the guy, to be honest. And look, I'm a firm believer. I'll give you the respect that you show me. You know, we've had a lot of really good police pull us over, and it's been a good experience, a good laugh. But unfortunately, they're those ones that you're guilty before they even talk to you.
Yeah.
You know, and you could go down the shop to get a loaf of bread. You know, and you instantly, you know, done. And the time that I have been busted doing something, hey, I put my hand up. Yep, it was me. I did it. I stuffed up. I broke the law. And you don't argue with them, you know? Yeah, cool. We're giving you this fine. Yep, that's fair enough. Like, you know,
fair enough.
You do the crime, you do the time. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And that's the risk that, you know, I used to allegedly run. I'm a bit more mature now. I just don't get caught. I mean, I don't do anything now.
Wisdom has served you well. Now you just don't get caught.
Yeah, you know, I used to say to people, I've spent enough time on the wrong side of the law to know how to beat the law. But yeah, you know, and a lot of times we have good experiences with them. We have one police. One guy, I won't name his name, just in case he is listening, because he does tend to follow all my things and all my mates' things. He has it in for us. In fact, the last, say, 8 defects that me and my mates have ever got was from him.
Of course.
And we could be, you know, one side of the city, get defected by him, be on the other side of the city an hour later, and be defected by him again. He tends to turn up where we are. So, and he's the one of the head honchos of the Hoon driving.
He also does break into your house without a warrant and leave possessions behind.
Yeah, that wasn't that wasn't him.
That wasn't him. That was someone different, was it?
That wasn't
okay.
him. That was someone.
Yeah,
someone
there was
different.
someone else. Yeah.
But yeah, we have a bit of a love-hate relationship with this police officer. We buy him coffee. We even got a pizza delivered to his vehicle one time.
Oh.
He was parked up the road from my mate's house watching us work on the cars. So we got, it was around dinner time. So we felt a bit bad for him. So we got a Domino's pizza delivered to his car. Which he accepted, by the way. He accepted
Of course he did. Of course he fucking did.
I don't get it. I don't get how it doesn't make sense.
Maybe he follows Wazz around so that way you can get free pizzas off him.
Yeah, he wants free food and fucking coffee and shit.
Yeah.
He's just enabling him.
Yeah, he's the one that the thing is he hasn't been able to bust us with anything, and that's what annoys him, I think.
Yeah.
He's either always turning up at the wrong time, like he'll turn up just after something's happened, or just before something's about to happen.
Right.
But he's never there when it happens, so he can never bust us with anything. Which is he's a good cop. We even invited him to a birthday party. He didn't turn up, unfortunately.
You have a really weird relationship with this boy.
we gave him an invitation and everything. He never turned up, but
he probably did. He was probably out front, really.
He probably was.
He probably was there in spirit and with binoculars.
Yeah. He was probably, 100 of the fastest cars in South Australia there at the time, so he's probably there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, he's a good guy. We like him. We always have fun with him. He turns up to all our car meets and has a chat with us, and he goes, "What are you boys up to tonight?" And we always tell him, "Nothing, officer. We're probably going to go have a cup of tea soon, coffee and a biscuit or something." Or we use it to our advantage, and we were like, we'll say we're going somewhere Pacific out loud so we can hear, and then you see him get in his car and he sort of takes off, and then we know he's gone there, so we go the opposite way.
Yeah.
So that works too. But then every now and then we get the police helicopter following us.
Oh,
wow! But yeah, they followed us from one side of the city to the other all the way home one time.
Oh, that's so petty.
Just imagine how much money they spend on a couple of $100 fines if they can get it.
Well, one night when the helicopter was following us, we purposely took a route that we looked on our GPS and mapped out a route, and they followed us, and we actually made them draw a big penis in the sky. And then screenshotted the app with the where you can see the airplanes and stuff.
Yeah.
Screenshotted that and then put it on the SA police page going, I don't know who's driving your police helicopter, but why is he drawing penises in this?
Oh no.
So yeah, that was a good achievement. Yeah, and then one time they went to my mate's house and beamed us. So we all started jumping the fences and running off.
Yeah.
So police swarmed us there, and then we just casually walked. And they all got us, and why did you all run? And we're like, I just thought it was fun at the time. And they were so angry because they called every police officer. They thought they had the biggest drug bust of the century or something going on. And it was just, 20 mates having some beers around a bonfire. So...
That's like, I remember when I used to hang out with these guys on the car scene and whatnot, and I remember we were just chilling in a car park, like, it wasn't too far from the beach. It was a pretty quiet area, and I remember we had like a skipping rope, and we were playing double dutch. Like, these full-grown men are fucking skipping, and this fucking patrol car pulls in, and she gets out, and she goes, "What are you all doing?" We're like, "We're skipping." And she's like, "I heard reports of people like doing burnouts and like drifting around the roundabout. And we're like, no, we've been skipping here the whole time. Little did she realize that on the car like over that we're making like a sparkler bomb. and then funnily enough, the car that she was after actually like happened to do a burnout right past us, and so she chased them.
No.
And that was funny. And then that night we lit off some fireworks. It was good fun. Allegedly. Allegedly. Yeah. It's not as bad as the couch day.
Oh,
you've been real harking on that story.
Oh, I fucking love it. It was fun, man. It's so dangerous because, like, so we're coming down like this here. I'm not going to mention the name or anything like that. It's all just never happened. What are you talking about? And so there was this couch that we found on the side of the road, and we decided to take it up. It was in the back of someone's wagon, wasn't it? We take it up.
Yeah, good old Ed.
Yeah, we took it at the back, at the top of this it's major like hilly road, where they like do like tour down unders down, and like it's a huge road, but it's usually pretty quiet in the middle of the night, and it's really windy, and there's cliff on one side, and it's like crazy, but it's like a nice wide road. So we tied it to the back of your VT Commodore, and we sat down in the couches, and we they towed us down the hill while we're holding onto the couch, swinging around. It's good fun. No one got hurt.
Just
it's a couch, so you hold on.
Yeah, you hold on real fucking tight.
we weren't
professionals.
Yeah, it was fun. It was good fun. We'll it's just like skiing, you know. When people ski behind a boat, it's just doing it on asphalt.
Yeah, you're right. There are no seatbelts on ski trips.
That's it. There's nothing. People don't even wear helmets. The only thing they wear is a life jacket, but you don't need to worry about life jackets on asphalt because you're not going to sink in the asphalt.
No,
you're just going to take some skin off. Yeah, that's it. You know, you come off, you just, you know, you be a turtle and you grab the cushion and put it on your back and you ride down on the cushion. It's all good, yo.
Yeah.
Well, I have another tow story for you.
Yeah.
So we're down the old local boat ramp that we have, and we found an old kid's toy, like an old, like one of those little seesaw sort of things. I think this was a crocodile one. Anyway, we decided to tow it behind the car, you know, with the old tow rope around the car park. Anyway, the cops came down and put their red and blues, and they get out and they saw the funny side of it. And he goes, "Look, I'm going to have to tell you to stop because you're not wearing a helmet." Well, he wished he didn't say that part because in the boot of everyone's car, we always had a helmet with us.
Yeah.
Because we allegedly did a lot of street drifting and stuff, you know, allegedly. So out comes the helmets. I'm like, well, we got helmets. Can we wear them and tow? And he just looked at us and went, "Well, that's what I said, I guess." So that was it. Back out there with the police there. And watching us tow these people around in the back of the bloody car with you know, well, you're wearing a helmet, I guess.
It's not on a public road, so
yeah, not on public road, but yeah, it was funny. And then another time was a trolley got pulled over by a cop on a push bike. He didn't see the funny side of it, actually. Quite the opposite, actually. You know, he had 20 grown adults there getting the old lecture about how it's dangerous and you got to use our brains more and this, that, the other. And, you know, my mate was an idiot. He goes, "But we did. We put cushions in the trolley." Which, you know, set him off even more, obviously. But, yeah, that was an interesting time. Interesting fact, I've been pulled over in all forms of police vehicles. Horse, push bike, foot, car, motorbike.
You've even had Star Force pull you over once.
What's Star
Yeah,
Force?
It's like SWAT.
Yeah, SWAT.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they pulled us over. You don't need to be pulled over by them. Trust me, they get out with all their guns ready to go.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Alright.
They know they're
And,
scaries.
Yeah, so you just sort of sit tight and be quiet with them around. But we have been pulled over by the same Star Force group about 3 times now, I think. So, you know, again, we've got to know them.
Oh yeah.
So when they find us allegedly doing illegal stuff, they just sit there and watch. One time they were there when we were allegedly doing something, and the real police turned up, put their lights and sirens on. So Star Force pretended to pull us over and book us.
Yeah.
So the cops left us alone. And moved on, and then they let off you go. And then we got pulled over by the same police as we were leaving, and they said, "Oh, you know, you must have really angered them for them to pull you over and book you. They don't normally do that." I'm like, "Yeah, we were idiots." All right, we'll get home. We're like, "Yeah, we're going home." Which allegedly we went home. We took a long way, but we went home eventually.
Yeah. Made a couple of stops along the way, but we got there eventually. Just 3 o'clock in the morning. That's all.
Yeah, I reckon that we used to go out and then not get home till like 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
and it was almost non-stop driving the whole time.
Couldn't do that in this day and age with the price of fuel.
Well, yeah, nah, it's the price you pay. One of my mates' cars, you can literally see the fuel gauge go down as you drive.
I've seen a few people describe their cars like that.
Yeah, my Commodore was like that when I used to open up the injectors and go to town on her. Just see the meter going.
But I've done a lot of things, Allegedly did the street drifting. Allegedly did the street drag racing and burnouts. Allegedly,
of course.
Allegedly.
All in Mexico. It was all done in Mexico.
Yeah. You also allegedly jumped a car as well.
I've allegedly done that a few times.
You've allegedly taken a Dado Ute on the skate park.
I allegedly did that. We've allegedly had to put a little coupe on its side because we bent the exhaust up and had to snap it off. Allegedly. We've also allegedly put oil down on the road for people to do burnouts, and the police turned up and hit the oil and end up sliding out into a big pile of dirt. Allegedly, yeah. I reckon the craziest thing I've ever seen was a drag race between a Lamborghini and a Ferrari.
Oh yeah,
with over $50,000 bet on it.
Oh wow.
They were betting each other $50,000 that they would win.
Yeah. Who crashed?
What's that?
Who crashed?
No one crashed. The Lamborghini took the win. But that was a big, they turned up. If anyone's seen the episodes of Street Outlaws, where they do a lot of street racing, that was what we were doing for quite some time. Had a couple of, nice straight roads.
What about the story about that Lamborghini? So a mate of his had a Ford Escort with a Ecotec V6 manual in it, and a Lamborghini decided to race it and got flogged.
Yeah. Because of the power to weight ratio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just demolished it. Yeah. It did a wheelie and everything.
The scariest thing is about that car, it still had the old original drum brakes.
Yeah. They did not spend money.
Car pulled out in front of you, Well, the whole idea of it was you're going fast. You weren't stopping.
What's the point of stopping when you're trying to go fast?
That's it.
Yeah, right. You got to go fast to stop, right?
Yeah.
And
exactly.
traveling at those speeds, brakes are basically useless anyway.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Sometimes you brakes and do more damage than good at high
Yeah.
speed. People hit the brakes, and that's when they slide out and crash.
Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, I've been around for a few years now. Done a few things, seen a few things, experienced a few things. Probably some things I'm probably not proud of. Probably some things I wish my mum would never hear. But
So she's at work.
yeah. Thank God for that.
Yeah, you might get a flogger when you get home.
Oh, mum busted me a few times.
Yeah, tell some of the stories that happened with mum involved, like the Datsun story, which is the skate park story. That's all linked in, and
So we got the Datsun for $50 off a crackhead that said that it wasn't running, but it turned out to be a flat battery. And we drove that around for months. And we used to park it just around the corner at one of my older brother's mates' houses.
Yeah.
And we drove everywhere in that thing. At night time, allegedly. We got pulled over a few times in it.
mind you, they were
And
also like 12 and 11 allegedly too.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you were a bit young. No.
Nah,
My older brother had his L's.
did he? I thought it was before that.
No, he had his L's.
Oh, okay.
And so we drove around everywhere. Got pulled over a few times. I reckon the police knew that we were underage. But back then they just used to use the old scare tactic. Anyway, nah, we drove went to the skate park in it, like literally went to a skate park on it. Why not? You bought it for $50 and you're already breaking the law, you might as well keep going, You might as well
You have Pandora's box.
That's
get
it.
that kill streak going, You might as well keep that kill streak going. And so Mum ended up finding that and doing the biggest burnout I've ever seen in the thing. Mind you, we couldn't start the thing by the end of it. You had to roll start it
Oh wow.
because we've killed it. But she got it started first go and did this burnout and got $50 for it, which she thought was going to punish us. But she wasn't quite happy, and I got a bit of a flog when I said, I only paid $50 for it. So that was a bit of a smart ass moment. So I got a bit of a flogging from Mum for that. That was a funny moment. But one morning I was coming home in the old BC Commodore and taking the usual way home. Not realising Mum was on the way to work, and thought, I'm going to drift this bit, and started drifting around through the lights onto the old road, and pop over the little crest was Mum.
Oh crap!
Staring me eye to eye as I'm like full lock sideways. And the old oh shit moment came through to me, and I was like, well, I'm done. That's me. It's been a good life. I've experienced a few things in my time already, and my time to leave, I think.
By the time your mum gets her hands on you, yeah.
So I got home, and no sooner did I get home, my phone starts ringing, and it's Mum.
Of course.
I could pretty well feel her breath coming through the phone that she was screaming that loud.
Oh, wow.
And all I got was, you wait till your father gets home. And I knew I was in for it. So, bracing for the worst, And, anyway, later in the afternoon, Mum got home, ripped into me some more. Anyway, waiting for Dad to get home. Well, Dad was in a good mood this day.
Okay.
and decided to handbrake slide the old Ford Laser into car park
Yeah.
out the front. And he had no idea what happened prior that day. So then he ended up getting ripped into by Mum. Going, no wonder why your kids follow you. And he's just looking at her like, what the hell's going on? So I ended up getting in trouble by Dad, not for the fact that I did it, but the fact that I got him in trouble.
Oh. For something that he did anyway, right?
Yeah, but, you know. So, yeah, that was one of my old shit moments. Another time, we used to have a big megaphone, like one of those massive, really expensive ones.
Yeah.
And it used to play the Mr. Whippy song.
Oh,
Yeah,
no way.
Mr. Whippy
Yeah.
song.
See where this is going.
Yeah, he even tricked us
Anyway.
kids when we were on the beach too. We all came running and were sadly disappointed.
Middle of summer, and we drove, middle of summer, and drove down down past the beach, doing the old beach run, and we played the Mr. Whippy song. And just saw thousands of kids running. And anyway, later that night we get home, and because at this stage, you know, you had my peas, so you know you pop in home for 10 minutes, and then leave again. You know, anyway, we popped home and chatting to Mum. And I said, "Oh, how was your day?" She said, "Oh, it was all good. You know, I took your brother and a couple of his mates down the beach, but these fucking little low life pricks driving down playing the Mr. Whippy song, getting all these kids excited for ice cream." Da da da. And I was like, oh, bloody hell, they're assholes, they are. You know, and then, you know, my mate was looking at me like that was us. Oh, God. But, to this day, I don't think she knew that was us.
No, she did find out because she found your bloody megaphone and it played the song.
Oh, yeah.
And she
But
realized.
we got karma. We got karma in the end for that.
Yeah.
It also used to play the old soccer song, like ole, ole, ole. It used to play that. Yeah. And one night in the charade, actually, when we crashed the charade.
Oh, yeah.
We went 80-0 real quick. Do not recommend hitting a guardrail head first. It doesn't work out too well.
No.
Send the pictures of the accident in the Discord was and I'll show it. To go back to, sorry for interrupting, but to show everybody what a Blues Brother handbrake sliders. Here we go. This is what my dad did. Nah, it's not muted. This is what my dad did when mum was trying to get him in trouble. He did that. So he basically came in sideways and then slid it in parallel parked. And he was really proud of it too until Mum had a go on him. He had such a smile on his face. He's like, yeah, I fucking did it. And then
he was on top of the world. Absolutely on top of the world. But yeah, so when we hit the guardrail, the megaphone was in the boot, and the force of the hit broke the back seat and sent the megaphone from the back, like from the boot, hit the windscreen, and then the soccer song started playing all in once. It broke and it got stuck on that one song. So that was a bit of karma for us at that time, and we ended up pegging it into the middle of the paddock, and that's all you heard for ages was ole ole over and over and over again. So a bit of karma there. Oh, I just sent through a couple of photos.
Yeah, no worries.
I will be able to get them up for you.
Holy crap! Okay. Is that the? Yeah, that's that's the one you try to get defected, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you got there eventually.
That he did.
Eventually, yeah.
Oh wow!
Just trying to. I'm
Funny
trying
fact,
to
though,
get it up on there.
I actually got a lot of money for that car. So.
Oh, for the way it was? Like they just stripped it down for parts?
No, because it was insured.
Oh, right.
And I thought it was only worth like, $2,000, but the insurance came back at me and went, no, it's worth $11,500
Oh, right. Far out.
because of the model it was. And I was like, oh, jackpot,
Beauty.
Yeah, so
So-
that's what happened when it hit the guardrail. You can see the leaf color that it was in, and it was unfortunately very ridden off.
Yeah, I can tell. Holy crap.
It's a pity.
Funny,
It was a good
funny
car.
story about it though. Funny story. You're stripping the car out because I had full sound system, everything in this car, and I was stripping it out. And this drunk guy in a Navara pulled up and thought we'd stolen it,
Oh.
and was stripping on the side of the road. And he thought the cops were coming, so he's like, "Oh, come stash it in my workshop, man. Come stash it." And we're like, "No, it's all good. It's all good. The tow truck's coming." And he did this massive drift around the corner that we've ever seen, and he was rolling drunk, like he was should not have been driving. But
Wow.
Typical Navara
Yeah.
driver.
Yeah, no doubt
Well,
about that.
if they're not rolling the vehicle and if it's running, yeah, they can do some cool stuff.
Yeah, you can. It's it's funny you knock the Navara was, but they've actually gone up in value. Everyone's buying them now. It's weird. They went from like the most unreliable, everyone hates them, they're a real stain in society, to like, actually they're really good. Now they're like buying them left, front, center.
Because you need 3 of them just to make one run properly.
No. I honestly think it's because all the aftermarket parts are now, so you pretty much just remake the motor to the way you want now, and it's all good. But yeah, still nothing will beat your Surf.
The Surf?
Yeah, the one with the 1AUZ in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think your headset's playing up on you. Was.
Is it?
Yeah, you just went quiet.
Oh, I wasn't talking.
Oh, okay.
That might also be it too.
Yeah,
I'm having a cough lolly.
cough
Trying to
lolly.
keep, uh,
That's right,
trying
because
to get my throat going.
you're unwell at the moment. I have a question though. If you had the choice to buy any car in the world and money is no option, what would it be?
That's a tough one. That's an actual tough one. Money was no option.
Money was no option. Doesn't matter what it is.
It'd probably be one of the original GTR Skylines. One of the old square body GTR Skylines.
I can see that.
I can see that. Is that kind of like the one that your mate's dad had, but his was just a GT Skyline? Like, the old 1971?
No, if you look at one of the original GTRs,
Yeah.
it was in the Fast and the Furious movie when
Yeah.
well, I can't remember what country they were in, and I'm pretty sure it was black by memory. Yeah, one of those. You can have I could have all the fanciest cars, the Lamborghinis, this, that, the other, but it's just something about an older car, the rattles,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the clunks, the claims.
Yeah. I know the one you're talking about. Yeah. You're talking about one of these bad boys. Yeah. They're kind of cool.
Yeah. The whether you're going to make it, whether you're going to survive.
Oh, yeah, whether you're actually going to get to your destination in one piece.
It's the thrill of the ride,
Yeah.
I've had more fun in very slow vehicles than I've had fun in very fast vehicles.
Yeah.
And you can do more as well with the slower vehicles. Like, put it this way, like,
well, you get less speeding tickets, that's for sure.
But like, put it this way, like, it's the old argument, like Subaru versus like Evo and Skylines. Like, you could spend 10 grand on a Skyline, a Supra, or an Evo, and you'll make triple to three times to like even 4 times the power of the stock motor, where Subaru you'll be lucky to get like an extra couple of thousand kilowatts out of it.
And then you spend $2,000 on a AU Falcon, and you beat them all anyway.
Not even that. You could like just buy an FG or something like that, and then just upgrade a few bloody intercoolers and stuff like that, and you're already beating V8s for a couple $100.
Oh.
Like, yeah. Actually, it's funny how the have you noticed that the change in Hoon cars have like swapped from Holdens to be the Hoon car to like FG Falcons? Every single dickhead on the road has an FG Falcon
because they're cheap.
It's weird.
Holden went through the roof.
Yeah,
and when Holden shut down, everyone put their Holden into the garage because now they're an icon.
Yeah,
because
you can't damage them anymore.
Which doesn't make sense because Falcon's no longer made as well, so I don't get why that didn't happen with them.
Well, one of my mates, because they're Ford.
Yes,
and Australia is a Holden country.
Yeah,
but one of my mates got so sick of the Holden prices that he cut up an original VP SS Commodore and posted it on all the Commodore pages.
Just to
saying,
just like as a fuck you.
Yeah, as they're like, you're charging all this money for these cars. It's just ridiculous. They're not really worth it.
Nah.
So he goes, I'm not even going to bother selling it. I'm just going to cut it up, and he did.
Because like one thing that used to piss me off of Holden and Ford, for that matter, right? So when, say for example, you wanted to buy like a VF Holden Commodore, brand new, that's like an $80,000 car. But then if you spent $80,000 on, say, a European or a Japanese car, or even a bloody American car, you get way more bells and whistles. Like back then, like sat nav, heated seating, all that stuff was like in that price range. But yet Holden was like, we have heated seating. That's the only thing you get out of it. Because like the one thing that annoyed me with Holden Fords is like they charge the same price as a luxury car, but have no luxury items in it. And what I don't also understand is they then charge like, say, 90 grand for like an SS Commodore, which has got the V8 in it, but it has less options than a V6 Calais does. And a V6 Calais is cheaper. Like that used to annoy me as well. Because like, I'm sorry, a V8 and a V6 don't justify such an increase in price. Because
you're paying for performance.
That's but it's not though. Like a V6, I mean, in Ford, it's different. A V6 is actually more powerful than the V8, but like...
Straight 6.
Wait, sorry, straight 6. The straight 6 is faster than the V8. And the V6 in the Commodores are a heap of shit. I've never liked them, except for the Ecotechs. The Ecotechs were a good motor. The Buicks are alright. They were bulletproof, but the Ecotechs are my favourite.
The old main games.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just interesting how, like, they used to charge more and they were always behind the times of any other company. Like VXVT still had rind up windows when every other car manufacturer was doing electric. That alone.
You had the option.
Yeah, but the option was like an extra $1,000. Like, it's not worth it. Because I hate wind up windows. I fucking hate manual wind up windows. They suck.
But it's the old argument, like the VL. The reason why we had VL turbos is because we bought the motors from Nissan.
Yeah, exactly. And they were already legal with the 31 turbo, the GTS. Is it a GTS or is it GTS TTR?
Oh, GTS and GTRs.
Yeah, I don't know. The 31 never had a GTR. It was 30. The 32 had the GTR and the 31 didn't.
Yeah. Well, not a GTR as such, but the DR30s was pretty well. The DR30s, or people used to call them the 31 GTRs.
Because then you also had the Cosworth too. Because to find a Cosworth in Australia is super rare. They're a good motor. They're a 4-cylinder turbo, aren't they? 2 litre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the only reason why we had a VL turbo is because we got all the motors from Japan.
Yeah, you gotta give it to the Japanese engineers, man.
Yeah, they know how to make.
They know how to do it, and the reason why their brands suck these days because they're not making them anymore.
They're not. But
Nah.
when I was over in Japan, you're getting the old taxis, and they're all the old school Centros and old school Cedrics and stuff like that.
Because they
have, like old cars.
Because they have auto doors, don't they? So like when you pull over a cab in Japan, you just wait and the door will open for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
And you pay per 5 kilometers in a taxi over there.
Yeah, they're really cheap compared to like
if you ever go to Japan, don't tip them, whatever you do.
Why do they just want more money out of you?
No, it's offensive.
No. It's offensive. It's disrespectful to tip them.
Yeah,
because you're implying that they're poor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which yeah. So I went over there and I did drift school.
Yeah, what was the drift school like? Like, tell us about it. Like how it works and yeah.
We did a Ibiza circuit, which is probably one of the most well-known drift places in the world. It's massive. The place is massive. It's that big. It has a zoo.
Oh wow!
Inbuilt into the circuit. So you're drifting and you see a bloody, a giraffe while you're drifting and stuff. It's pretty insane. But yeah, you go over there. It wasn't cheap, the one we did, but when you have the world's #1 drifter as the guy that's changing your tires, you're paying for it.
Yeah, it's worth the price.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was they go through it all with you, show you some different tricks and stuff, how to do it, the best way to doing it. And normally you spend the whole day just sort of on a little cone track learning it, but we were that good. They decided to let us go on another track by ourselves.
Excellent.
And we ended up joining up with the second-ranked drift team in Japan. They were there for a practice day. So we ended up teeing up with them and doing some tandems.
Excellent.
That would have been so
which
fun.
I got called. My nickname for them was the Crazy Australian. Because I didn't know that the certain corner you enter at a certain speed, and I was entering the corner at double that speed. So I was a Crazy Australian. They couldn't keep up with me in a lot of corners. I was just having fun. Crazy experience, honestly. It improved my drifting so much doing it. I want to go back. There for sure. Had a crazy time in Japan.
I really want to go back to I want to go to Japan.
I'd like to go to Japan as well. That's definitely something I want to do.
Now, I have a story that I can share that I shared with my brother. So we were on our way back and we were driving in this car here. And so in this road, it went from like a dirt road onto like a sealed road, but it was a main arterial sealed road. So like it was, I think it was just after the 80-kilometer sign changed to 60. And we were just chilling. We were just having a chit chat and whatnot and talking about usual crap. My brother had a gap, so he went. Next minute, we've spun around 3 times. And we ended up facing a completely different turn on the other side. We didn't hit a single person. No one crashed into us. And we looked at each other with their mouths open and were like, well, that just fucking happened.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it.
that was a weird time that you actually had no control of the vehicle and you didn't even realize what happened until after it happened. If you were advising someone that had been in situations like that, I've been in situations like that too, driving the Commodore on the old bloody stock rims. What would the best course of action for someone to be able to recover from a maneuver like that? And mind you, though, he did not floor it. All he did was accelerate normally. And what happened was, because it was gravel to bitumen, we just had no traction. And so we just spun.
Right.
And this is a car that's got, what, 200 and something kilowatts at the rear?
Yeah, more than that.
Yeah. So
I used to win a lot of drag races.
This is a 6-cylinder twin turbo vehicle. Like, this thing would, yeah, it was fast.
I made a lot of BMW drivers very upset.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you mean you hit my $120,000 car?
Basically, yeah.
Had a massive dildo shifter on it too, which is really funny. So a dildo shifter is a joke. It's not an actual dildo. So a dildo shifter is basically just a comedically long shifter knob.
Oh yeah, I've seen those ones.
Yeah, it's yeah, that's a good one. I'm just making sure there's no actual dildo.
Almost touches the fucking roof.
Yeah, so that pink one there is pretty much what was in it. That's on the right hand picture there. So that was like his shifter. You can even get ones that glow. You can even get ones that glow in the dark. That's sick. I've never seen that before.
I've still got that shifter.
Yeah. So yeah, they just call it because it's a joke more than anything. But yeah, it's kind of funny. So yeah, it had one of those on it, and I also remember you were on the news or something, weren't you? With that car.
Oh, yeah, probably.
That was the bus incident.
Oh, well, look, things happen, right? And some other things happened, and things happened, and
yeah.
Allegedly, when someone says you can't do something in a car, and I like to prove them wrong sometimes, and
I mean, I know how you feel.
And I was going pretty fast, and there was a bus and some drifting going on. I may have drifted around the bus, and it may have been captured on a few phones. Just allegedly. Yeah. Allegedly, apparently it's not the thing to do, so would not recommend.
Apparently some people were very upset with your actions.
But did anyone die?
That's the question.
That's what I said to the police officer. Which he wasn't happy with. I don't know why.
I couldn't tell you.
Mind you,
yeah,
though,
so
at least all those situations, yeah, they're like chaotic and dangerous, but they are controlled. Unlike what happened, it was a couple years ago now, where there was a guy, and you even fucking caught it too. You said that motherfucker's going to kill someone. So there was this dickhead who's a Lamborghini driver, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you, Wazz?
Yeah.
So he was driving.
He's the reason why we're getting these new laws.
Yeah. So he was a fuckwit, basically. And he had all these startups and stuff like that, and he got money and all that sort of shit, and he ended up getting a Lamborghini. And it was an event. No, it wasn't an Aventador. What was it? It was a Hurricane or something?
A Hurricane, yeah.
Yeah, Hurricane. So he was like driving like an idiot and like trying to race people and stuff like that. And on the way back, because these guys kicked him out of the car meet or something, didn't you? Told him to leave because he was drawing unwanted attention.
Yeah, and we're actually on a big car meet. Another one happened once a year.
So he left, and he was driving, and no one was even with him as well when it was happening. I'm pretty sure he wasn't like racing anyone, but he was just driving like an idiot home.
No, we were all driving.
Oh, you were all driving, but he was driving. He was driving uncontrollably, and I guess he hit a pothole that he didn't notice, and unfortunately, he launched it onto the pedestrian walkway and killed 2 teenagers.
One teenager.
Or was it one teenager and injured the other one?
Yeah, one girl. One girl.
Yeah. You know what that fucking piece of shit tried to do? He tried to blame the car.
You can't. You can't blame the car if you're the driver.
No, it's up to the driver's discretion. Like, put it this way: like, I would never drive at those speeds in any fucking vehicle on a road, knowingly that's full of potholes and it's not a safe road. Like, in the past you do stupid shit, but like you do it in a way that if something goes wrong, you can recover and no one's going to get hurt. But he was doing it on like roads that are bumpy, ripped up, and just not on a car that's like, a couple of millimeters off the ground. Shit's going to go wrong. And unfortunately, someone's life was lost. And then I think he got away with it too in the end, didn't he? Because his lawyers. I can't remember.
Yeah. Pretty well. He pretty well got off scot-free.
Yeah.
But then he got bashed.
Yeah.
So,
probably got his body head kicked in.
Yeah, the one thing that I am really proud about our country is some rich guy like that thinks that money's going to save them. It's not.
No, it's not.
Money means nothing to people who have no money.
If you're not going to go through this process the legal way, okay,
then you will get your upcomings in one way or another. Like we heard story of a person who did something involving a minor, and he was being taken to court, and in between that, somehow he got hit with a bookcase 27 times. Somehow, I don't know how it happened.
Somehow. Allegedly.
So yeah, things like that happen.
Allegedly, I know someone that transports people to their,
destinations,
to the final reference. Yeah, and he, if he finds out that someone was a kitty fiddler, he would take the long way.
Yeah, and that's all we'll leave.
Very
it.
windy.
Very windy, very bumpy. You might hit your head a few times, but that's it. That's all we're gonna stop on that one.
But
before we reveal too much.
Yeah. Nah, it's good. Like the one thing I love about our country and stuff like that is, people knock us and all that sort of stuff, but when it comes to doing the right thing, like we do the right thing. Like I remember a few years ago, and you were even involved in this one too. There was a is it Amber Alert? Where like a kid's gone missing, and so an Amber Alert goes out, and then everyone like chips in the emergency services all pitch in, and they all go looking for this lost kid. And I remember there was one locally a while ago. For a little kid, and we were everybody in the whole, like multiple neighborhoods, like you're talking thousands and thousands of people, got up at 9 o'clock at night in their dressing gowns, in their thongs, in their Ugg boots, and whatever clothes they decide to put on, and we all looked for this kid. Like all the neighborhoods, we looked in all the parks, we knocked on all the neighbors. We actually didn't need to do that because all the neighbors were with went looking for this kid. Turned out he was hiding in the backyard of one of his mate's house. But it's that sort of thing that I love about our country is, we'll bend over backwards for each other if we have to. It's getting a little worse these days, but at least with something like, an Amber Alert or something, we do pitch in. Or if someone's car got stolen, mate, social media is the best for that. Like, we know several people's cars got stolen, and within like an hour they found it. Like, it's crazy.
And allegedly the police turn up and the people who stole it fell over.
Yeah.
And hurt themselves,
really badly.
There's a lot of clumsy thieves out there.
There is, yeah.
I don't understand why they're thieves, They're very clumsy.
I also don't understand how they can punch themselves without punching themselves. It doesn't make sense.
Well, those things, they try and run and then trip over the pavement, or it just I don't know. And that one that ran into my fist, I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah, he's just very clumsy.
I guess he just he just wanted to see if he could take it. I guess I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He had a bet.
Maybe the science experiment. Maybe he was doing a science experiment.
Maybe
I don't know.
I
don't know, but
it's funny because like you've never had a car stolen, but you've had people attempt to steal your cars, haven't you?
Yeah. The one time I lent my car to my now ex-wife, and she drove to the work for the first time, and someone tried to steal it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an interesting day. Always have a kill switch.
That's it. That's what you. Yeah. I would have a kill switch if I had any older import car that's sort of sought after.
But yeah, that was a bad day.
Yeah.
Literally, I put the kill switch on, and the police officer started it straight away with his ballpoint pen. So that's how close they were to stealing it.
Yeah,
far out.
Which they broke the ignition barrel and everything, which I don't understand why. You could have started it with a butter knife, really. Didn't need a key to start that thing, but did a lot of damage.
Well, at least you got a new ignition barrel, so now you do need a key.
And yet, I left my AU Falcon at Marion Shopping Centre for 5.5 hours running. I went in and did my Christmas shopping, and no one stole that. So I don't know.
Because no one wanted it.
It's the old Simpsons trick, if you want it stolen, you lock it, Yeah, I was a bit annoyed because I was walking back to the car and where's my keys? Where's my keys? Started panicking.
Oh yeah.
And then sort of walking towards my car and heard it running, and I was like, "What?" And the radio going, but it was middle of summer. It was a hot day. The air conditioner was left on. I'm just saying it was a good idea in the end. That car was nice and cool.
That's what everyone should do. Everyone should leave their cars just running.
Yeah.
In car parks.
Wouldn't it be nice if like you could do that? Just turn your car on the remote. That's one thing I do like about the later years in Holdens, like the Colorados and the Blaze Runners and the VF Commodores, that they had the engine start on the central locking remote. So if you hold down what one was it? Was it the boot or was it the unlock button? You hold it down, it starts the engine remotely. And the reason for that is so then that way you can do that. You can start your car before you get to your car and have the AC running. So by the time you open the door, the AC's cooled down the air inside it. So I thought it was always a great idea. Yeah, I wish all cars came out with that.
It was actually originally designed for a safety. Safety reasons.
All the cop cars had it.
Because that way, if you're walking in a car park late at night after finishing work, you can unlock your car before you get there.
Yeah.
Because a lot of attacks on women happen in car parks while they're trying to unlock their car.
Yeah, that's exactly true.
So it's designed so the car will be running so you can get in and drive off straight away if you need to.
Well, that's like Jeep brought out that that mechanism when you start driving, it auto locks your doors so that way people can't carjack you.
Yeah, but they catch fire. So.
Yeah, they do catch fire, and also their doors fall off.
Yeah, but at least they have that feature. Someone I know had a Ford, like an old Ford Ute, that had a similar feature. So on the central dashboard at the very bottom, just in front of where just on the central dash, just in front of the gear shift, you had a button, and you had to press that button in order to unlock any of the passenger doors, or just the passenger door, I should say. It was only a single cab. But you push this button, and then you can open the passenger side door to be able to let in. Otherwise, it just remains locked, even if the car door is unlocked. It's just an automatic feature. And as frustrating as it was, I also found out that the car was designed in America, of course, but just so you didn't get carjacked, and that's the reason why it existed.
Well, there's also like features as well that can backfire with cars. Like, for example, is it the VP that used to do it, or is it like one of the older ones like the VKs or VNs? Where basically, so it used to have an anti-roll sensor. So if you roll your car, it automatically unlocks the car, so then that way you can get out.
Oh, that was BTs.
There's VTs, was it? So they had that option. It wasn't an option, it was a safety feature they imported. But literally they realized that to break into someone's car, you just jump on the roof and it unlocks, and then you
Yeah, right above
No
the mirror.
way.
yeah.
Right above the rearview mirror, you just kick it and all the doors pop open.
Yeah. And then you can help yourself to the car.
Oh,
So
no.
they scrapped that idea real quick.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of people's possessions got stolen. The cars didn't really get stolen, but the possessions did.
Well, no one wanted a car that unlocked if you just kicked it.
Yeah. Well, it also had a mobilizer as well, so it was a little harder to sort of pinch. Little.
It's also Holden put all their money into redesigning the BK Commodore.
Yeah.
They spent all their money on that they realised that they ran out of money on a lot of other things. So there was only ever 8 keys, different keys made for a VK Commodore.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So if you had all 8 keys, you can get into any VK Commodore you wanted and start it and drive it.
Yep.
That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
Yeah, Holden weren't that smart. People rave on about how good they are, but they're not that smart. That's like another thing. It's like another thing that really pisses me off with Commodore. You know, the VF Commodore can only allow 2 keys to be programmed at a time.
Yeah.
So if you have a partner, you can't give them a key because then you don't have a spare key, or you give them a key. So you can't have like 2 keys for you and your partner and a spare. You have to only have 2. And what makes it worse is you can't get it keyed up by an independent automotive locksmith. It can only be done by a Holden dealership because they have the licensing for it.
I think the whole
that's now changed.
Was that?
That's now changed.
No, it's not. It's not. They've still locked it down because the guy at work paid for a locksmith to go do it, and he got on the computer and everything, and it denied him every step of the way. And he had the licensing, but it wouldn't let him because he didn't have the passcode that Holden has.
Oh, well.
So he had to go to Holden and get it done, and he's got a Series 3 VF Calais. It just wouldn't let him because they had to delete the old key and then add a new one in.
Yeah, so
yeah,
the reason why that feature's there, it's so people can't cyber steal your car.
Yeah.
Right? So it doesn't allow them to be able to unlock your car with a
you can't clone it. You can't clone it basically.
Yeah. But my mate can do the keys.
Yeah.
So,
it sounds like you pretty much have to know what you're doing to basically get them done. Because like this morning I was actually looking at too, because I'm thinking of fucking I want to get a scanner for my car because I kind of want to dabble into tuning myself, because like it's over $1,000 to tune a car. It's so expensive, and I kind of want to remap my ECU to do certain things, and I can disable a few features.
Right.
And I know I can do it. Like it's not as complicated as people make it out. If you do it right and follow the manuals and the steps, but I really want to learn tuning.
Interesting fact.
What?
What's that?
You can gain up to 100 to 150 more horsepower by retuning your stock car.
Yeah, because when they come out of the factory, they run them rich, so then that way they're basically
they run.
Yeah, they run.
That way, every car will run. When you start it runs. So all you do is retune it to make it how it's supposed to be, and you get another 100, 150 horsepower out of it.
Yep, that's exactly the truth. And then companies like Ford with the XR8s had to. So when the XR8 and the XR6 came out with Ford, the XR6 stock was faster and more powerful than the XR8, so they had to detune the XR6, so then that way it was less powerful, so people wouldn't buy that over the XR8. Literally, they realized that people aren't stupid, and that's why there's more XR6s running on the road than our XR8s. Because I'm sorry, but the 5-liter V8 that Fords have is junk.
That's a lot. That's a big engine.
No, it's not. It's actually the smallest. It's a small block.
It's still 5 liters is big.
The Holden's is 6.8.
That is a metric fuck ton of liters.
The VF and the VYs. Was it the VYs to the VF that came in the 6.8? The LS3?
No.
Was it just VF?
No, VF HSV edition.
Mm-hmm.
The normal VF SS is only a 6-liter.
No, the SS is 6.8 because
no, they're not.
Yeah, his guy at work's got one and it's a 6.8. And his is just a stock standard SS.
No. Trust me. They come out 6-liter. We don't have a 6.8 in a VF Commodore.
Oh, okay. Maybe it is just 6-liter then. I could be wrong. But
So 6 or 6.3.
yeah, because that annoys me. The LSX never came out in any of the Commodores. The only way to get an LSX motor is basically get a Corvette. But yeah, you can buy a Camaro. No, what car do they put them in?
They put them in the. You get them in the wagons. Actually, the VF wagons.
Because that's a 6.8 liter.
Yeah, you get them in the VF wagons and stuff. You can get them optioned.
Yeah.
By HSV.
So basically, Spliffy, the LSX is basically... So the LS motor is a very long-living motor. It's been around fucking decades. Like, people have done anything and everything to these motors. These motors are probably the most sold, used, modified motor of any car in the world.
Just because of how reliable they are?
They are reliable and they're easy to fix, easy to maintain. They're simple. They work well. You can get a lot of power out of them for a lot of little money. You know, they're reliable. The only thing that aren't reliable on them is probably like the accessories, like, you know, your fan belts and stuff like that, because they throw fan belts like no tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, they're just a simple motor. So the Corvettes brought out the LSX motor, which is probably the fastest production motor you could probably push out. Like, you're talking about Corvettes that can outrun helicopters.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, these things are so fucking fast when they're done up. Like, they're in a phenomenal motor. Because their ECUs that they came out with them as well are also designed to be tunable. So you don't need it. It's like, for example, if you have like an LS3 motor, if you want to tune it up and add accessories like a turbo or a supercharger and you want to like tune the fuck out of it, you'll pretty much have to buy like an aftermarket ECU like a Helitech or something like that to do that. Where the LSX, they brought out an ECU that has all that incorporated stock. So if you want to add a turbo to your motor, you can do that and change on the ECU and everything. So they designed that motor to be basically like a tuner car. And they put it in a few different cars. I know it's in the Camaros.
The VFs, you can tune them.
Yeah, you can, but limited.
The stock ECUs.
You can't put a turbo on them, though. Sucks.
Yes, you can.
Not with a stock ECU, though.
Yes, you can. You can tune the ECU. You can do fuel tables. You can do boost tables. You can do everything.
Really?
Yep.
I wonder if they use the same ECU that they put on the LSX then.
I don't know. But yeah, you can, because that's what we did to...
Because I know like VEs and VFs, like, they're really hard to turbo. There's a lot of money and working you have to do to get them turboed. That's why a lot of people just stick a supercharger on them.
And be done with it.
It's easier.
It's easier.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
It's like a direct fit. And then just a tune and you're done. It's really not that hard. But the thing with supercharging is like, so do you know what the difference is between a supercharger and a turbocharger, Spliffy?
No.
So they do exactly the same thing. They basically have a turbine that basically force induction, so they suck air in basically, but the way they operate are two different things. So a supercharger operates off of a fan belt, which is linked to your main crank pulley.
Auxiliary belt? Yeah,
it's just basically usually a belt that goes straight from your crank pulley to your supercharger. So basically your engine through the crank pulley then turns the pulley of the supercharger, turning the,
Yep.
the compressor and then sucks air into your intake and
Okay.
slams it into you.
That, yep.
Yeah. The turbo is the opposite effect. Instead of running off your crank, it runs off just the exhaust gas. So,
okay.
so the difference is so there's a thing called power band or peak pound pressure, like PSI or whatever. So on a supercharger, you have to basically be at high revs to basically get, say, for example, it's an 8-pound boost that you're getting from your supercharger. You don't actually hit that 8-pound boost until you're basically hitting the revs, the high revs.
Yeah.
To hit that power band, basically. Where a turbocharger, because it runs off exhaust, you hit boost much earlier. So for example, my car hits boost at 1500 RPM.
Yeah.
Where if I had a supercharger in my car, I would probably hit boost, say, I don't know, 3000 RPM, 3000, 4000 RPM, when basically my car revs out.
It's the other way around.
No, I thought it was the other way.
No, supercharger's instant power.
Yeah, but it's only
and you lose power at top end.
Isn't it?
Where turbocharger...
Yeah, I suppose.
And turbocharger comes in later, so you have the bigger pull. That's why a lot of fuel fast cars is turbocharged and supercharged.
Yeah. Well, they
work in the continuous power.
But from memory,
supercharger pushes.
From memory,
superchargers before intake and turbochargers after intake.
Yeah. From memory though, that like, say for example, your supercharged 8-pound though, you don't get that full 8-pound boost until you hit the power band though, don't you? Because when you're on idle, it's not actually an 8-pound boost; it's at whatever it is at the low RPM.
Yeah, you don't get an idle. You don't get you do. You get boost at idle,
but it's not. But it's
the
not max
still
boost.
spinning when you're at idle.
Yeah,
and then as soon as you pick up RPM, as soon as you pick up RPM, you pick up all your boost.
Yeah,
and you hit max boost.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to.
But turbocharging, you get lag.
Yeah,
because you can that makes sense because you can only push so much air into such a small volume, and then that's probably where your 8 pounds.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to. Like you get constant power, but you don't get the full power until you hit your power band. Basically, that's what I was getting at. Where turbo, you don't get power until you hit the power threshold. Say like my car 1500, and then you get your full 8-pound boost constant. That's what I was referring to. Yeah.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
So turbo,
around that.
The best thing to do is exactly what was said: is you get a supercharger and you tune it to work in unison with your turbocharger. Or what you could do is you could get what your mate fucking did and got a turbo off a big dump truck, fit it to a motor, and then run 2 turbos to then power band that one.
Yeah.
I don't know how he did that.
Wow.
So, like, these turbos are huge. I have to show a picture.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet they're absolutely enormous. I guess I don't know. So if you have a turbo, a supercharger and a turbocharger, does that mean is that what qualifies as twin turbo, or is twin turbo totally different? You just have 2 intakes as opposed to 1.
No, twin turbo is 2 turbochargers.
Oh, okay.
And that's what twin turbo is.
Okay. So then you have two turbos feeding from the exhaust or feeding from the crankshaft?
From the exhaust.
Oh, okay.
And there's 2 different setups. You can have twin turbo where you have one either side, or you can have compound turbos where they feed off of each other. So you got a smaller turbo will kick in, and then it'll start feeding the bigger turbo, which has more lag, and then that will continue the power all the way through.
I'm pretty sure the dump truck turbo is not that one. I reckon it's that style one there. It's like that size, isn't it? Yeah.
That is enormous.
I don't know what the fuck that's from. Like, must be a ship.
That looks like, it looks like a ship. But
but it's that size there, roughly.
How the hell do you fit that in an engine? How the hell do you fit that in a car?
You do exactly what he's done. You just don't have a cowling or anything.
Oh.
You do something like that. See, that's what Wazz was saying. You got a smaller turbo that runs into a bigger turbo.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
then the
all your,
secondary
like,
turbo is what feeds into the air intake, and that's how you get your extra boost. Okay.
so your GDRs are a compound turbo setup.
Right.
Your Toyota Supras twin turbos are a compound turbo setup.
Right.
Your 300ZXs, they were twin turbo side by side, and that's why like the airflow meters of a 300ZX was very sought after because they do a higher volume read,
Yeah.
so they're better efficiency. Theoretically, you've got one air intake module reading for both turbos, so it's got to be very good.
Yeah, that would make sense because it's basically going to take double the amount of air.
Hey, do you know what a bloody bi-turbo is? You know, like modern cars now, like your Nissan Dukes now, they have like either a bi-turbo or di-turbo. They're twin turbo, but I don't understand what the hell that means.
Bi-turbo is basically compound turbos.
Okay, so it's just another fancy word.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how car manufacturers do that. They just like make up words to like confuse the fuck out of people.
It's a marketing tactic.
Yeah,
like, oh, what's this new shiny thing? It's the same thing as before with a new layer of polish.
Because that's also a thing as well with turbos, Bliffy, with the older turbos that weren't water cooled, because all modern turbos pretty much come out water cooling now. So they're hooked up to the radiator and whatnot, so they cool a lot more efficiently. Where they used to only be oil cooled, so the engine oil not only lubricated them but also cooled them down. And so what you would have to do is if you gone for like a long drive, you would pretty much have to sit there for was it 5 minutes or something? You had to sit there on idle to cool it down.
Depends on your driving.
Yeah. And the reason for doing
sometimes sometimes it was a minute or so, sometimes it was 10 minutes, sometimes you had orange glowing from your bonnet. It just depended on your driving.
Far out.
Oh yeah, they get fucking hot. Either mine glows every now and then. Yeah.
Reaches melting point, and you just see this liquid magma gooping from your engine block.
Well, when you think about it, a turbo's hooked up to the exhaust gas, right? So that's hot anyway. So then then you add friction from the turbine spinning. That adds more heat. So like if you had a camera on your car as you're driving on doing 110 on a highway for say an hour, if you had a camera looking at your turbo's glowing red. That's how hot they get. Yeah. On just normal daily functions. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Water cooled sounds a little bit more reliable.
It is. It's a lot more reliable. It's more of a prick when you need to change the turbo, but it is more reliable because you don't have to sit there and let it idle. Because the reason why you have to let it idle on the older oil cooling ones is because
oil around it.
No, it's not that. It's Wazz, you better explain it this one because you've actually had this happen to you in previous cars.
It's all to do with the shrinking of the gaskets and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Oil will always find... Oil deteriorates gaskets on itself, especially hot oil. So if you don't let it cool down with it and you just shut it off, it rapid shrinks.
Right.
And the rapid shrinking is what will crack and, not be a very good day.
Yeah.
So you got to let it cool down. The other thing too, when you turn your car off, the oil's not flowing anymore.
Yeah.
So then you've got oil sitting there, just boiling in your turbo. So if you ever get a frying pan and you left it on the stove too long, with oil in it, it goes all black and gluggy and burns. Yep. That's what also happens. So you have to keep the flow going until it's cooled down enough.
Yeah, which is where water cooling helps because water cooling disperses the heat evenly around the turbo and pulls the heat away from the turbo, let it cool naturally. So it doesn't do that. But like I said, it's a prick though, because with water cooling turbos is usually the turbo sits higher than the radiator as well, so flushing them is a whole ordeal. So when you basically change the water cooled turbo, you have to unplug all your lines and whatnot. But then you also have to flush the radiator afterwards, and when you install the new turbo on it, and you have to replace all the gaskets, which it's not just the oil line gasket you got to replace, but you also got to replace the water gaskets as well, like for the water lines. And yeah, it's just more work. It's not hard. It's just more work.
Yeah, it's just more work just for one day. So you don't have to spend a lot more time doing other things.
I hope that my turbo never goes on my car, touch wood, because they're a real prick.
Yes. Yours is water cooled?
Yep. Yeah, I've got a Garrett T55, I think. T65. I don't know what fucking Garrett mine's got.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
But yeah, anyway, so we've pretty much hit the 2-hour mark. Thank you very much, Wazz, for being on the podcast and sharing some of your funny stories. Got some good laughs out of that. And
way more there.
Oh, I know you do.
Oh, we'll have to bring it back.
Yeah, we'll have to bring it back. You got to tell us the full driving stories.
Yeah,
there's a lot of them as well. It's like taking your AU full driving. But anyway, I have to see you off. And thank you all for watching the Limited Bastard podcast. As always, please hit that follow button for your support. And share it to your friends. I will probably re-upload the VOD onto YouTube with a little bit of an edit this afternoon if I'm lucky. And I hope you have a good night or day depending around the world. And we'll see you next time.
Talk to you guys later.
Bye.